What God Knows. Page 124. We pray for my grandfather, ask God to spare him even though he is a non-believer. We ask that Jehovah looks into his heart, see the goodness there. But my grandfather says he doesn't need our prayers. I work hard, he says. I treat people like I want to be treated. God sees this. God knows. At the end of the day, he lights a cigarette, unlaces his dusty brogans, stretches his legs. God sees my good, he says. Do all the preaching and praying you want, but no need to do it for me. New playmates. Beautiful brown dolls come from New York City. Fancy stores my mother has walked into. She writes of elevators, train stations, buildings so high they hurt the neck to see. She writes a place with beautiful names: Coney Island, Harlem, Brownsville, Bear Mountain. She tells us she has seen the ocean, how the water keeps going long after the eyes can't see it anymore. Promises a whole other country on the other side. She tells us the toy stores are filled with dolls of every size and color. There's a barber shop and a hair salon everywhere you look. And a friend of Aunt Kay's saw Lena Horne just walking down the street. But only the dolls are real to us. Their black hair in stiff curls down over their shoulders, their pink dresses made of crinoline and satin, their dark arms unbending still. We hug their hard plastic clothes and imagine they're calling us Mama near. Imagine they need us near. Imagine the letters from our own mother coming to get you soon, or ones we were writing to them. We will never leave you, we whisper. They stare back at us, blank-eyed and beautiful, silent and still. Down the road. Be careful when you play with him. My grandmother warns us about the boy with the hole in his heart. Don't make him run too fast or cry. When he taps on our back door, we come out, sit quietly with him on the back stairs. He doesn't talk much, this boy with the hole in his heart. But when he does, it's to ask us about our mother in New York City. Is she afraid there? Did she ever meet a movie star? Do the buildings really go on and on? One day he says, so soft, my brother, sister, and I lean into here. I'm gonna go to New York City. Then he looks off, towards Cora's house, down the road. That's south, my sister says. New York's the other way. God's promise. It's nearly Christmas time. On the radio, a man with a soft, deep voice is singing, telling us to have ourselves a merry little Nickeltown windows are filled with Christmas trees. Cora and her sisters brag about what they are getting: dolls and skates and swing sets. In the backyard, our own swing set is silent, a thin layer of snow covering it. When we are made to stay inside on Sunday afternoons, Cora and her sisters descend upon it, take the swings up high, stick their tongues out at us as we stare blank behind our glassed-in screen door. Let them play, for heaven's sake, my grandmother says, when we complain about them tearing it apart. Your hearts are bigger than that. But our hearts aren't bigger than that. Our hearts are tiny and mad. If our hearts were hands, they'd hit. If our hearts were feet, they'd surely kick somebody. We are the chosen people, our grandmother tells us. Everything we do is a part of God's plan. Every breath you breathe is the gift God is giving you. Everything we own. Daddy gave us the swings, my sister tells her, not God. My grandmother's words come slowly, meaning this lesson is an important one. With the money he earned by working at a job, God gave him a body strong enough to work with. Outside, our swing set is empty finally. Cora and her sisters now gone. Hope, Dell, and I are silent. So much we don't yet understand. So much we don't yet believe. But we know this. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday are reserved for God's work. We are put here to do it. We are put here to do it. And we are expected to do it well. What is promised to do us in return is eternity. It's the same, my sister says, or maybe even better than infinity. The empty saying set reminds us of this, that what is bad won't be bad forever, and what is good can sometimes last a long, long time. Even Cora and her sisters can only bother us for a little while before they get called home for supper. Sometimes no words are needed. Deep winter and the night air is cold. So still it feels like the world goes on forever in the darkness until you look up and the earth stops in a ceiling of stars. My head against my grandfather's arm. A blanket around us as we sit on the front porch swing. It's one like a song. You don't need words on a night like this, just the warmth of your grandfather's arm. Just a silent promise that the world as we know it will always be here. The letter. The letter comes on a Saturday morning. My sister opens it. My mother's handwriting is easy, my sister says. She doesn't write in script. She writes so we can understand her. And then she reads my mother's letter slowly, while Hope and I sit on the kitchen table. Cheese grits near and gone. Scrambled eggs leaving yellow dots in our bowls. My grandmother's beloved biscuits forgotten. She's coming for us, my sister says, and reads the part where my mother tells her the plan. We're really leaving Greenville, my sister says. Hope sits up straighter and smiles, but then the smile is gone. How can we have both places? How can we leave all that we've known? Me on Daddy's lap in the early evening, listening to Hope and Dell tell stories about their lives at a small school a mile down the road. I'll be 5 one day, and the Nickel Town School is a mystery I'm just about to solve. And what about the fireflies and ditches? What about the nights when we all climb into our grandparents' bed and they move apart, making room for us in the middle? And maybe that's when my sister reads the part I don't hear. A baby coming. Another one. A brother or sister, still in her belly but coming soon. She's coming to get us, my sister says again, looking around. Our big yellow kitchen, then running her hand over the hardwood table, as though she is already gone and trying to remember this. Page 33.